Texas, but it's Florida. So to Bill called.
Well, I have 6:30, so if everyone would please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tyler had sent me a text yesterday, work. He is probably on an airplane headed to Texas right now for a training. So he apologized and said it looks promising for the other dates. These last ones just kind of hit bad, so I wanted to share. So Mel, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Fazy?
Here.
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Here.
Mrs. Gill?
Here.
Mrs. Clyde?
Here.
Mrs. Sherrick?
Here. I'll make a motion to excuse Tyler.
Second.
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Clyde?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherrick?
Yes.
Mr. Fazy?
Yes.
Mrs. Gill?
Yes. Okay, thank you. I had asked Randy if he would come in and kind of give us an update on the pool. Obviously, he kind of lucked out because it, never made 70 today, and the pool was actually closed, so he didn't have to leave there. First of all, we're very, very thankful for having you return. Hopefully you can share, we do now have a sign at the pool that states no handguns or guns are permitted there. Randy's good eye led to a situation, and I'll let Randy kind of share what that was all about.
So it was a couple days ago, a gentleman came in with a backpack, very clean cut, buzz cut. He was obviously a rookie cop or some kind of cadet, just looked the part. Had a backpack slung over one shoulder. When he turned after signing in, I could see the clear imprint of a handgun in his backpack. He wasn't causing any issues at all. There was no sign posted at the time, so couldn't really do anything. I wasn't gonna make a scene. I did monitor him the entire time he was there, no issues. He was there with family, had his bag under his chair, just kinda hung out. But I like to keep an eye out for stuff like that. If somebody tries to come in and sneak in and whatever, and then, with ill intentions and whatnot. So, there is a sign now posted on the gate at the front entrance that states no firearms or weapons on the premises.
So I know that you had requested, or Sarah, I believe you were the one had kind of requested what the first week looked like. So I'll just kind of let Randy kind of go through, I think.
So the sheet I handed out to everyone, is a breakdown of dates. In the membership column is how many people from the memberships signed in, how many people paid in the admissions column, how many were free. The free ones are obviously 5 and under, 63 and older, or people who don't swim. If they come in with a kid and just hang out and watch them, I don't charge them if they're sitting at a picnic table watching their grandkid or something. The total column is obviously total numbers that we've had for the first week of being open. I don't have a number as far as income for the first week. Everything would be on the daily count sheets that I turn in, so I can get with Mel and get a more accurate number if you'd like on as far as we've brought in so far.
I think usually the intake is a little higher at the beginning because people are just buying their passes.
Yeah.
And pool parties.
And pool parties, yeah, that really boosted it up.
Yeah, we have quite a few parties lined up. I know right now we have 20 memberships that people have paid for already. Obviously village employees get those for free. I've got a couple forms up there that are filled out, waiting on people to bring their payments so they can use them. So they're wanting to use them, they're interested in them, so that's a plus. As far as memberships, I've noticed a handful of people are putting babysitters on them. If you look at the ordinance, I can pass this around here. It says village employees and immediate family only are free. I don't know if there's a motion that needs to be made for that, or if that's just something that needs to be followed, or, but there were a handful of those that were doing that.
I have one of those. I put my
singling
says
anyone
No,
out.
no,
I
you're
said
fine.
you might be the
immediate
only one.
family, so
Okay.
I think that babysitters is probably out.
Okay.
Next thing, I met with Greg today about putting a waiver on the sign-in sheet, like a liability waiver. It states in the pool rules that a waiver must be signed before even entering the pool. We haven't had that the past couple of years, so now we're going to add it on top of membership sign-in sheets as well as non-member sign-ins, so members and admissions, that will be on top of the sheet for them to read, plain as, just black and white there before they sign in. So I think it'd be important to, kinda keep us out of a lawsuit.
Yeah,
If any.
does that waiver have to, if they're 13, 14 years old, does that have a adult supervision in place for their number there? For that?
So that's the next thing I wanted to bring up was the age. Right now, 7 and under have to be accompanied, but 7 and older can just be dropped off at the gate with no supervision, not accompanied by a parent or guardian or an older sibling or something. I've talked to a couple other pools. It seems like everyone's at around age 13 to be dropped off. Something I experience on a daily basis. People will pull up in the parking lot, drop their kids off, or whoever, siblings, grandkids, whatever, and they're driving off and down the street before the kids are even in the gate. So, like if little Johnny, he's 6 years old, trips and falls and breaks a finger, I don't know where mom works, I don't know mom's phone number, I don't know my address, we don't have any of that info, so, obviously the older kids would know that better.
I just have a question, if you do have a 13 sibling, they can bring, they kinda are watching their 10-year-old, that would be all right,
Would
correct?
probably be okay.
Okay.
I mean, I
That's
don't
what
have an
it's
issue
kinda
with it as
looking
long
at.
as someone older is with them.
With them?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had one the other day, I think she was 8 or 9 years old, little girl at the pool, was standing in a parking space out in the parking lot for
Yeah.
about 5 minutes, and I finally walked out, I was like, hey, what's going on? Oh, I'm waiting for my uncle. Well, how'd you get here? Oh, mom dropped me off. Okay, do you know mom's phone number, or uncle's phone number? No, but he's supposed to pick me up around this time. Okay, well, come on inside, wait at the table by the gate, we'll make sure it's uncle before you take
Sure.
off with somebody.
Right.
So, I feel like the older kids, would be a little easier.
Right.
Or if they're accompanied by an older sibling or,
Yeah.
or something, so.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
looking out for their safety, really. I mean,
Yeah.
just 'cause I'm not at the school right now doesn't mean I stop caring about the kids' safety and all that,
Right.
so.
That kind of goes along with the discussion, a child can be dropped off, and they can walk out the gate at any time, and then
Yeah.
a parent can come back 3 hours later to pick them up, and they're already on 75 up in another
Yeah.
state, or down 75.
How would you suggest we fix the people dropping them off in the parking lot? Like, if they don't, cause it is in our policy now that they have to be signed in, and they're not being signed in, but
Right.
they're in there, so how do you?
I mean, we'd have to go some kind of public platform, maybe our website, Facebook, something like that.
But if somebody doesn't see it and they leave their kid, what do we do? Like, I guess what do you do?
Yeah.
I guess the first time they sign in, when the parent picks them up,
I mean, I could go
I
out
need
and
to talk to your
them.
mom or dad.
Right. Okay.
That might resolve. And I don't think that the public will be upset with it. I think that they've all realized that Macomb is different than it was 30, 40 years ago. And we're here to protect them. We're not babysitters down there. Nobody's a babysitter. They're watching the water, they
Right.
should be, and the kids running. But if I were the parent, I would be thankful that we had Randy and his crew there, watching out as much as they all do.
They do keep a pretty good eye, and I've told them, like, even on their breaks when they're hanging out, whatever, keep an eye on the gate, keep an eye on the parking lot, sidewalks, outside areas, to make sure there's no little kids out wandering along
Yeah.
too. And they're pretty good at letting me know about that.
But unfortunately, the park is, next
Right,
to it, they
right.
wanna go do the
Yeah,
swing.
I had
Keep
a-
that-
uh,
Yeah,
Keep it a break.
right. wanna
There was a
keep it
little
break.
4-year-old a couple days ago
Yeah.
in there that couldn't even get out of the gate by himself. I said,
Yeah.
hey, what are you doing, bud? He's like, oh, I'm trying to find my grandma. Did you come in here with her? Yeah. Is she in here now? No. Well, let's go look.
Right.
Walk him around the pool, couldn't find grandma. Well, grandma was out in the park somewhere with brother.
Oh.
And just left him there.
Left.
I'm like, what are you?
Yeah.
You see how it's a little frustrating?
Yeah,
So-
just a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
This little guy who can't even spell his name and he's left
Yeah,
alone in
left
a pool,
alone,
so.
yeah. I would be freaking out.
Do we need to set more of an age, or can we just put that out on Facebook that,
You can put it out there like that. I don't know what your ages, I don't know what Riverside does or any of those.
Riverside is 13.
I think we should go with 13.
I was 13.
Personally.
I personally think 13 is a little too old. I mean, I think we're gonna lose a lot of our kids if we move it up to 13, because I'm gonna be honest, my junior high kids do not swim. Like, when they were in junior high, they didn't go to the pool. So our target is that younger, I'm not saying 7, I'm thinking like 10 or, I mean, 11 even.
I have a question. So if a kid signs himself in and they're signing into the sheet with a waiver on top without a parent, does that?
Well, I don't think the waiver is any good. Hearing about these problems makes me think that, and again, I go back to the old days, that you're buying a pool membership, so you're gonna sign, you know, Robert E. Feitner Jr., I'm the parent of these people, and on behalf of my wife signs it or whatever, and it's got all the release language from, you know, other things, and that's what you collect at the beginning of the year, and they're good for that particular season. But a 13-year-old can't waive.
But what about the ones that are coming in and paying without a membership?
A
Then
daily
what do they do?
Right, I mean, there's gonna have to be a parent or guardian signing that waiver for them if you want to have a waiver. I mean, I don't remember as a kid taking a guest to a pool and that anybody had to sign anything, but if you want a waiver signed, then somehow they're not dropping those kids off without going to a pool office and saying, here I am,
Yeah,
where's the
the
waiver?
adult, the parent has to sign the waiver.
Yeah, or grandma, guardian,
Yeah.
you know, designating who she is. It'd be nice for members, you could do it once, you know, when they pay for the
when
membership.
you pay for the membership?
But for regular guests, I don't think an adult ought to leave a 13-year-old without letting somebody know. So they sign them in and sign the waiver.
What's your thoughts, Randy, on an age, just out of, you
You're
were
the
down
one-
there,
you're the
so
one
you
managing
know.
this.
I
mean, 12, 13 age is probably a better idea. They're a little more cognitively developed and.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking younger kids or anything like that.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
little Frank's kids right across the street come over there every chance they get, and they're never an issue.
Right.
But if we make an exception for one, then we have to do it for everyone, and
Right,
then
right.
it's just a rabbit hole that we.
Right.
I have a feeling those kids are gonna be the reason it gets a lot of backlash, because they bought the membership, and her kids just literally go there, like you said,
Anytime it's open.
Yeah.
Yeah, with no.
and would they have bought a membership had the age thing been different, you know?
I don't disagree. I'm saying-
Well, and my thought is, we're only a week into this, if we do change it and they don't want the membership, we just refund the money. If we were toward the end of the season, I'd say, well, we've only been there a week.
Can we differentiate maybe having a little bit younger on memberships, provided that that special extra waiver is signed by said membership, but general admission, it has to be 13 or older, or you're accompanied by an adult? Like, is that an option? And like, what would be our difference in age cutoffs then?
Kids will just lie.
They
You tell them
could.
you're
But
telling them
parents have
you're
to
13.
sign them in now.
Well,
Right.
they should, but some of the parents
But that's the
will.
thing, like, how many kids stay at home by themselves, and it's a nice day and it's hot, they're gonna go to the pool to swim. I know times are different, but we were all kids, I mean, I was the most recent kid.
Rub that in.
But, I mean, I remember what it was like, you would make plans with your friends and you'd go up there, and like, if your parents aren't home, what else are you gonna do, just sit around? I guess we do wanna encourage less screen time, more outdoor time.
Well, it's been too many years since I had a kid that age, so I have to think, I have a granddaughter who's 10, she'll be 11
good kid, but I wouldn't take her there and drop her off, even at 10.
I did talk to Tyler a little bit about this, and he made a valid point to me, because I was like, I'm gonna drop my kids off at 13 by themselves, but everybody parents differently.
I would-
And a lot of people don't parent, not a lot of people. There could be differencing in parenting where they don't see an issue with dropping a 7-year-old off, like, it's not a problem. Where me, it gives me extreme anxiety just thinking about it, so, it's not.
There is a major problem with dropping off a 7-year-old.
Well, it's a convenience
And like I
thing.
said
They
in my
can pay- they
email,
can pay
if I
$5
catch a
and have a
7-year-old without
babysitter
an
for the
adult,
whole
I'm
day.
calling. I'm
Yeah.
calling Job and Family
Yeah,
Services.
7 is,
It's
7
right.
is too young.
Be dropped off.
Yeah.
What age does that babysitting class say
Isn't that
that you
11?
can start? 11?
Red Cross or whatever?
Red Cross?
Yeah, I think it's 11.
When you can start babysitting, is that what that is?
Yeah. That's kind of the age I'm kind of looking at, is 11, but.
Okay, so 11 of a 5th, 6th grade, usually by 11?
Fifth grade.
It's all fixed, yeah.
But could that 11-year-old bring their 6-year-old sibling?
I would say anyone younger should be accompanied by an adult 18 or older. It doesn't necessarily have to be a parent, but that's my opinion. I don't know, maybe you're the one running the show down there, so please.
How many babysitting situations do you have? Because,
3, I think, so far.
okay, where they're probably not 18 babysitting.
Correct.
Yeah, 'cause I know.
So that would
I
run
sent
into a
some-
problem too.
Yeah.
That would be a.
When boys were little, I had a 13, 14-year-old babysitter, and, you know, I sent her down there with the boys at that age. Because, yeah, I thought, you know, if they're capable of babysitting my kids, they're capable of watching them at the pool, so.
Could we allow them to be accompanied by an 11-year-old?
I think
Like,
we could
if
do
they can
anything.
babysit at 11, they can
That's
probably
kind of
bring
what I
their
was
younger
going
sibling
back
to the
Yeah,
pool.
that's what I'm
Right.
thinking.
If
Yeah.
if I have an 11-year-old, at least I know there's a sibling probably there. If I send my 7-year-old with the 11-year-old,
Right.
Buddy systems sort of, you know, and, that was the other thing, I remember I always went with my brother, so that's the thing, we went down and we came back together, you know? That was when I was here, yeah, so that's another, like you said, days are different, yeah.
the village is
Times
not
have
quite the
changed.
same as it was back
Right.
then.
And it's also like, the whole, like, parenting side of thing, like, if you don't go over with your 7-year-old before dropping them off by themselves at a public pool.
There's a bigger issue.
Yeah.
There's a.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
But how do you,
I can't even imagine doing that.
if
yeah,
we,
so.
if we change the years to 11, how do we address it from the 7 to 11 when people dropping them off? That, I think that's a huge concern.
Yeah, how do we get it out to them and?
Make sure that it's enforced, like, it's able to be enforced, because I can just see these people pulling up, dropping them off, and not even coming in,
Right.
and then what do you do?
Right,
Other
and then
than
short
talk
of
to
having
them.
someone posted out there and wasting
Right.
time and money, yeah.
Right.
Well, on the sign-in sheet, the new one that does have the waiver at the top, if this is what's used, it does have their name and their age. So maybe just a little highlight if they sign in right for now and say they're 9 and no adult. What time are you leaving today? We need to talk to one of your parents.
I'm gonna say, even if it's
Okay.
like a phone call.
Right.
Just to get the word out in the beginning, like, hey, can we talk to your parents on the phone, so we can let them know
That
the
would
new
work.
rules.
Do you get phone numbers when there's just a daily?
What's that?
Do you get phone numbers from them for just a daily?
Not if it's just daily admission, no.
Okay.
But there is, we have a slot for emergency contact on the
Yeah.
membership forms.
Okay.
But there's always someone in the office, right? So if you guys see someone sign in that's
Yep.
obviously not of age, you can just.
Yeah, I always have at least one person
Yeah.
there.
Do you have a lot of people that you don't come to the pool? I mean, out-of-towners or?
There've been, I don't know a number, but there's been a handful of new ones this year, families that say, oh, we've never been here, it's our first time, we're from
Okay,
wherever.
well, it's just a
and-
family coming in.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was just
Yeah.
single.
Like a couple kids getting dropped off that you don't know.
No, that, yeah. Because, you know, everybody kind of knows everybody,
Yeah.
everybody knows the kids. I always say you could never get away with anything, because I know.
Yeah.
Or you can ask the
Yeah.
person next to you, like, hey, who's that kid?
Who's that kid? Right.
Yeah.
So, but,
So, if I understand what I'm hearing, we're looking at an 11 and older can sign in without an adult. And younger,
Have to be signed in.
signed in by an adult, can they stay, or
No, I would say
No.
no, right, that was the understanding that they have to be
Okay.
watched by an adult.
A
Or
younger must
with
have,
a babysitter.
or a
must
sibling,
have an
older sibling.
11-year-old or older with them,
Yes.
accompanied by 11-year-old.
But if they're dropped off, would there be any reason why when they come up to sign in at that point that we don't request their parents' number to give them a call? And let their parents know that we need them to come up?
The only problem would be is that they don't know it.
I would say a lot of kids don't even
Yeah.
know a parent's number.
Like my almost 6-year-old doesn't know, he thinks it's 419, so I guess that, so.
Haley, I'm gonna go back to you.
And I guess that's the issue, is how do we get a hold of somebody if somebody gets hurt?
Right.
I can't fathom that, but Haley, you mentioned some kids that just walk over there.
Yeah, the Frank's kids, and they're well behaved, and that's where I know
Yeah.
it's gonna be.
Yeah, they're great kids, and they're
But
never
my
issue.
question would be, is there somebody that normally goes that's 11 or older that that
So-
parent could go to and go, hey, my kids are here, can you keep an eye on them
They
today?"
have a sister that typically babysits them.
Okay.
Do we make an exception for memberships where we have parent contact info, emergency contact info, all that stuff?
And it's almost like if they mess up one time, then, you know, you can revoke that
Right.
from having that. But that's the thing, is those Frank kids, I
Right.
see them all the time.
I think if you start making a bunch of exceptions, then
It's gonna be.
it's gonna
Yeah.
create
too
more of a.
confusing.
Yeah.
So they have a sister that's 11 and older.
Yeah.
So I would,
Yeah.
they're gonna be okay, yeah, 'cause they're gonna be.
And maybe, because things don't usually happen till the afternoon for her sports and stuff, but I would assume so.
Yeah.
So, if someone would like to make a motion, those two things, 11 and older with an adult?
I do have a question. What happens if the 11-year-old or older person signs, like, just leaves? Like, they sign them in. they're
Maybe we
supposed to
make it
do that.
mandatory, they have to take their sibling with them, or
Yeah.
notify a parent, or,
Okay. Is that too much for the lifeguards to police?
maybe,
I mean, we can touch base with it, but it's just a concern that we want the kids to be watching the pool, not having the
Right, I don't
kids
wanna have
all
them-
in and out,
right.
yeah.
well, yeah, you don't wanna have that same instance that looked like he had there, where the parent walked off and they're barking, all of a sudden you get this.
Right, the
4-year-old.
4-year-old hanging out.
That blows my mind.
Honestly, like, so, devil's advocate here. I have a 12-year-old babysitter. Yeah, I'm entrusting you to watch my kid, but I would not entrust you to watch my kid at the pool, because you get around your little friends. How much are you really be paying attention to my 4-year-old?
But that
I
maybe
think
goes
the-
back on
I
that
think this comes
babysitter
back
and
to
the
the
parent.
parent, it's a parent issue, not a village issue.
Really talk to your babysitter, yeah, say, hey, I'm paying you to do this.
And then I think
It's like
it's,
a self-discretion thing. If you don't want your 11-year-old, 12-year-old babysitter taken on, then fine, but we at least have it open for the one.
people that do, that are fine with it.
Yeah.
And then I think if you guys are having issues at the pool,
I do.
I don't think there'd be any issues with us backing, like, no, you're not allowed to come back, or no, you're not allowed to have. Because it says this is the rule, we're revoking that, because.
I have a question. So the incident that happened, the day there were two reactions from the lifeguard, the first one, was the parent there with them?
How old were they?
8 was the first one, second one was 10, who I had talked to the parents when they came back in
Yes.
to get their kid.
Okay.
And I guess is the concern is, where is the liability on the village? So, we have a 7 or 8-year-old that walks in the pool by themselves, or even with an 11-year-old sibling, and walks out, and there's Randy, who's an adult, and older lifeguards, and something happens to the child, is it gonna come back and, well, why didn't you guys stop him? You know,
Doesn't
you
our
guys.
policy stop at the door, though?
You
Like,
know,
after,
are you guys-
we're not babysitters, we're not keeping them there.
I understand that, but is that gonna hold up if something happens in the courts? Because
I don't
they're
think it'd
the
be a very
adults.
good, I mean, I don't think it'd be a very good lawsuit from that parent to the pool, but when something happens, you're gonna sue everybody and their brother anyway. But,
Well, maybe not to the pool, but what about the village? Be like, well, my kid left the pool. so.
But I think as a parent-
I mean, we're not,
As
we're
a
not
parent, you know
bouncers and
they're
gate
not-
guards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got lifeguards down there that
Like,
watch the
as a
pool.
parent, you know they're not
Yeah,
the
the
one
parents set it
babysitting,
up.
they're not in
Right.
charge of your kid coming and going.
Well, that's why I'm asking. He's the attorney, he's sitting here, so could it fall back on the village because they are adults in there and know that that kid came in by themselves?
I mean, letting a kid in that's not at whatever age cutoff you're gonna get?
So, say an 11-year-old comes in with a sibling. The
I know the
11-year-old's
sibling.
playing, yeah, the 11-year-old's playing, but the sibling leaves.
But we could probably come up with a lot of hypotheticals of what would happen, but I know, we're in charge of a pool and not their family kind of situation. I mean, you guys are talking about a lot of things, but Riverside makes it real simple. If you're under 13, you have a parent or guardian there. If you wanna pick 11,
So
10, 5,
18-year-olds
fine.
and older.
Finley says, no one under the age of 13 is allowed to enter the facility without an adult 18 years of age or older.
So
And
all
that's
the
run
kids
by
old
the
enough to
Y,
ride a
correct.
bike safely and do all the things they need to do in life are 13 and older and can go there and handle themselves. That's probably the philosophy of that. But you can change the age, but I just think that every parent filling out for membership ought to fill out a thing for the 2024 season. Guests, sign them every time they come, non-members.
I would feel more comfortable making an exception for members that have had maybe an extra waiver and release signed for a older sibling that isn't an adult watching their other siblings, kinda like the Frank situation. But I'm not okay with someone off the street come in and signed in
The
by an
daily sign-in,
11-year-old.
right.
Like,
But then you'll get it for discrimination because you knew this family and you didn't know that one.
but that family has a membership, you don't.
You go over the rules last year.
Seven.
So,
I looked at it last year.
Yeah.
I didn't even read it until I saw it.
I had no idea, I thought as a kid it was like 11, 12.
Yeah.
Even when my kids were younger, I'm like, you're not old enough to go by yourself.
I bet that's the original verbiage from the 60s.
Probably.
You can walk one of those pictures over there and see.
Yeah.
yeah.
So Rob, are you saying, like, if we pick an age that says 11 and older, has to be here, or 11-year-old babysitter can't have younger kids there, like 11-year-old is there to babysit, can have a kid there?
Well, I think that's up to council, but I think.
No, I'm just asking, if that happens and something happens to that, we have rules in place that say this, but if something happens, and I think Tammy's saying that that kid leaves, the younger kid leaves the pool, are we liable, can we be held against anything?
Well, you're still not a daycare.
Right.
You're running a pool.
Okay.
And, I mean, a kid could be dropped off at the Cube to ice skate.
Right, and
And
they are,
there's no
right.
rules there. Anything can happen.
Right.
See, I feel like we do in our due diligence by stating the age, we can't like monitor, you know what I mean?
Right,
If
and I
we-
was
yeah.
thinking about the waivers, and I was concerned about more paperwork and more records retention, because I'm sure that's gotta be added to the records retention, and,
You get Cedar
And
Point,
more for you
Fair,
guys to hold.
anything you want.
That's why I feel like if you're coming in without a membership, it should be pretty cut and dry. If you're 13 and or younger than 13, you need to be with an adult 18 years or older. Whereas our exception we could make would be for a family that has a membership. I think that would be a little bit easier to manage, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong.
But can it come back and say, well, we can afford a membership, that's why we didn't buy one, we can only do the daily, we can't come up with that lump sum.
We come on the Monday dollar days.
Too bad, so sad. Come with an adult.
Not everybody's gonna like whichever way we go with this.
No.
No.
So
No.
we can't please everybody.
Maybe you're gonna get pushback either way,
The
so.
best, the best for it is, and the cleanest way is the 11-year-old babysitting age, right? Because we were understanding the 11-year-old is old enough to babysit, and then keep that across the board? Or are you wanting an amendment as far, not amendment, but an additional waiver for our memberships?
I don't like the idea that any 11-year-old could sign in than my 4-year-old without anyone knowing that that's okay.
Well, if you request, that's where I think,
Just make that 11.
Mhm.
if if you're a non-member and you're coming on a daily basis, and you're 11 years old, then you need to have a waiver signed by your parent saying that you are responsible and/or in guidance for your sibling. And,
Is it
That's
one
what I'm-
waiver to last
yeah, for the
the rest of the
season.
time you come in?
Yeah,
For the season, yeah.
Because they're a member.
But that's on you guys too, you guys would have to be like, have you signed this waiver yet?
Right.
You know, it's just more work on your part.
That would just be at the beginning, because any new membership should have that included then.
Yeah.
We'll have
You're
to-
pretty good at knowing the
I
strengths.
mean, if I have to, I'll call all the memberships and tell them, hey, we've got this thing that
Additional form to be
Yeah.
signed, right? Because we want to have it in the process for the current members, right?
Because
Right,
I
yeah.
don't wanna put a bunch of extra work on Randy and his team, because it's just not, it shouldn't be that way.
I personally don't think we should have it differentiated from the membership to the non-members, just because that's just too,
Well, it looks like we're showing favoritism if it's for
Yeah.
members and.
and then who's just gonna go by the thing so they can get more leniency.
So I can
So-
go back to the original motion.
So what you're saying is the language say, no one under the age of 11 is allowed to enter the facility without an adult 18 years of age or older, and leave it at that. Is that what you're saying?
No, right, because the 18.
That was, then I said, anyone younger attending must be accompanied by an 11-year-old or older,
Yeah.
as opposed to the
We
18.
took out the adult part. If they're
Is he
signing a
gonna put it
waiver-
like, i.e. babysitter, sibling, maybe we need to do that?
It's already in.
Or what do you think?
That's where I'm having the biggest issue with this, is where, it's like, we could maybe allow that easier in my mind for members, because they have the ability to assign an additional release without making a lot of extra work on the pool staff. Whereas if you're coming in through general admission, I feel like that's where we need to have a differentiating thing. 'Cause, like, how does that work? So, I'm not a pool member, okay? And I'm letting an 11-year-old babysit my kid. Can that 11-year-old then sign in my kid to the pool
Mhm.
without my knowledge and potential permission from that 11-year-old? Even, I mean, yeah, I'm trusting the babysit.
Yeah, it's just a sheet, name and age and $5, and here you go.
That's where my problem is.
But I think that's a babysitter parent issue, not a village
My,
issue.
my 10-year-old has an 11-year-old friend, my 10-year-old's not allowed to go to the pool.
But that again is a parent and kid issue, not the pool. The
My
village.
10-year-old doesn't have a babysitter, I trust my 10-year-old okay to be
Right.
on their own. My 10-year-old knows they have an 11, 12-year-old friend, hey, let's go to the pool, meet me up and sign me in.
But again, that
Again,
just goes
that's-
back to the child, like, doing their own thing, not following the parents.
That's a parent issue, not a pool issue. And that would be when, if you know how old the kid is, they don't get in. If they lie on the age. then
But
it's
they,
not
but they
good
have an
for them.
11-year-old or 12-year-old signing them in.
But it comes back to the kid making that decision to go, not the village allowing them in.
Right. So the village law, if we're gonna stand on the 11-year-old and it's 11-year-old across the board, they wanna lie, they're gonna lie, but we can't.
You're not gonna drop manage.
That's where you see most of them at 18 instead of.
That's what I'm saying, like, if you
That's
require
why
an
you're-
18-year-old.
That's why you see that.
They'll lie at 11 or 18, it doesn't matter if they're gonna
Yeah.
lie, they're gonna lie. They'll still lie.
I still think 11 and older allow themselves, and if they can come if they're accompanied by an 11 or older.
With the waiver sign.
Yeah.
Right, with the waiver sign. I'll second that motion. That was with your original writing, right, Kathy? That was along the
Okay,
same.
let's kind of go back through this. Anyone 11 and older without an adult can come in. Then if they're younger, let's go 10 and younger, must be accompanied by an 11 or older And that could be sibling, sitter, guardian, parent,
Yeah.
and a waiver must be signed
By
with
parent,
a
right?
parent
Yeah.
waiver signed.
Before we vote on that, Randy, do you have any, is that a mess? Is that?
No, we can make it work.
So can we leave waivers up here if parents wanna come sign them and fill them out?
Yeah.
So they don't have to
Probably
be at
better
the
have a
pool.
stack here and at the pool.
Yeah.
And then do we put something out on the village website and the pool
Let's-
Facebook and all that?
Let's put that out tomorrow, but let's get our language put together tomorrow morning, how we want it to read. And then we'll have the waiver, and we can tell them where they're at, so that it all goes across the same, and Haley can put it out. Did you get that, Mel?
11 and over can enter pool without an adult. Do they have to have a signed waiver?
I don't think so, if they're 11 or older.
10 and under must have an adult, or must have an 11-year-old and older with.
Accompanied by 11 or older, which could be sibling, sitter, guardian, parent, grandparent, I guess.
Yeah. With signed waiver.
By parent guardian.
With parent waiver signed. Parent guardian, does
So is
cover
this,
everything.
is this waiver gonna be for the entire season for specific people, or is it gonna be a waiver encompassing everything towards the person under age 10?
I think for the members, it's all year because they pay for it, and then daily when you pay for it, you have to sign it every time. That way it's accurate, right? The current?
So what if you have like an
And maybe-
11-year-old babysitter that their parent signs it for them so they can take them out?
Oh, that part, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. I was
Do you
thinking
wanna
of the
read
other
what
part.
you put down?
Maybe we want to add phone number on this?
That's what I was going for.
Probably should.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't hurt. To place an adult's
Pretty
phone
much
number on
10
there.
And if they say they don't know their phone
Have a
number,
cell
then you
phone,
know
yeah.
then that you gotta,
Yeah, 'cause we can add a
Red
slot for
flag.
parent
Yeah.
guardian phone number.
Yeah, and they should have their parent
At
number.
least we have
or-
contact information from them.
Yeah.
Okay, so, do we have a motion on the floor?
Haley, I seconded.
Okay. Any further discussion?
I do have just a request. Can we get any reports from you as far as like every week or every 2 weeks, like how many issues you're having? That way we know if this is a bad idea, we
We
can
can do that.
revisit it.
Yeah.
I know that like the first month's usually your busiest, right? And then it kinda dies
First
off as
couple
the
weeks,
summer
yeah.
goes. So, if it needs to be revisited or amended, that's what we can do at our July meeting. But hopefully we don't wanna go this way and have to, but maybe something like how many sign-ins and how many issues. That way if it's 1 to 603, okay, but if it's 75 to that, you know, we
Yeah,
wanna.
needs to be revisited, sure.
Yeah. That's all.
And Melissa, would you call the roll?
Mr. Fazy?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Gill?
No.
Mrs. Clyde?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherrick?
yes.
Okay, any other questions for Randy while he's here?
How is it going with the, what is it, 3 days till we go until 8?
Not terrible, kinda falls off at the end. It's not a lot of people that we've had so far, but we've only been open for a week, so it's kinda hard to tell right now.
Sarah and I had the days mixed up.
I really thought it was Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, because I was all excited to go when it was hot, and I'm like, oh, she told me they closed, I'm like, oh.
No,
I lied to my
I
kid.
did talk to the guards.
Yeah.
A lot of them already have their vacations and,
Everything's
and
scheduled, right?
sports and everything already scheduled, and
Keep it this way this year.
they're kids.
Yeah.
They don't wanna stay at work that
Any
long.
longer than they have to. Maybe we'll talk about it for next season then, adding something.
I'm just very, very thankful, again, that we have enough guards, and we have
Yes.
Randy back.
Yeah, thank
So-
you. My son doesn't believe it's actually you because you're not wearing your full suit. That's not
Not
Officer
wearing all my
Randy.
garb to the
It's
thing.
not Officer Randy.
Twin,
Tactical
right?
pool manager.
Yeah, so that's the pool manager, it's not Officer Randy. I'm lying to you again because I told him the pool was open that night and I'm like, it's closed. just like the trampoline park and all the other fun things we have to do.
Well,
That's a parent problem, Sarah.
That's a parent problem.
That's called old age.
Everything's closed.
Thank you, Randy, appreciate it.
Thanks, Randy.
Keep us posted if there's any other issues,
Yeah,
or
we'll
see
do.
how this goes.
Randy, do
You
you
did
have
a great job last year, I just want to say, and if you have any discussions, that's why we hired you. You take care of it, and
We
I appreciate it.
we appreciate it, yeah, so.
Oh, I am very grateful that we have that.
I know you are.
And the pool is still running.
Do you have
Did
do
you
you have
check
our
those
emails? Oh, sorry.
dates? Oh, well, you couldn't check them today
I'll let you know
because kids
tomorrow.
weren't there.
I'll let you know tomorrow.
July 4th will be a free day, we do know that, and we're looking at possibility of next Sunday, possibility, it's supposed to be 94 and only a 5% chance of rain, and the other day was July 31st, I think. 'Cause
I don't
know
think
we're
we have
hav-
anything planned on those days. Let me
Okay.
check the schedule and be sure, but if not, I should work it out
If we
fine.
push it towards August sometimes, then the weather's bad, and this is the 3 days
Kids get
for the
busy.
grant.
If you, do you have our emails? I don't know if you have our emails,
Yeah.
but maybe that would be a good.
Yeah. I don't have a village email, but I have all your guys' stuff, so.
I'll sit out there this week on the hot days with my lights on and
See,
pass out the
what if
waivers
we
for
did
you.
make
There
a
you go.
pool manager out of the living room? Then it costs us.
If you have a lot of disgruntled, let us know, yeah, I mean.
Or I can keep a guard in the office and I'll stand at the gate.
No, no, no.
And you don't sign it, so you turn
That
around.
might
About
work,
that,
just
that is
like-
crazy, like,
They just don't want to sign something.
yeah.
Which I would, but, you know.
That was
Maybe we
kind of
have a
funny.
drive-through
And all
sign in.
kids- all those
Yeah.
kids-
Right.
Yeah.
Come to the park.
Parents
Like,
want to
pull up,
sign.
drop your kids, sign in.
That is really getting bad.
Well, that's part of
Right,
it, it's
digital
part of it,
signatures
you know?
out there.
So it is what it is, and if they have an issue with it, okay, well, go somewhere else.
Bruce,
Yeah.
and you're
You're not
young.
going to fitness, you're not gonna do it.
Do you think 11 is okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
We'll add your input.
right.
The youth
Grayson,
group.
okay
It's all on you, Grayson.
All right.
Grayson said,
So
Thank
are you
you.
gonna send
No
out the
problem.
re-release?
Thank you.
Thanks, Randy.
I want to make sure that we have it all typed up.
Thanks, Randy.
And it all
Yep.
goes out with the same verbiage.
What were the 3 days again, July 4th, and then we said next Sunday?
July 4th, but he has to check on next Sunday and July 31st. Those are the 3 possible days.
Oh, Father's Day?
July 4th for sure.
Yeah, that's Father's Day, right?
Yeah.
That's this coming Sunday, so the
Yeah.
23rd.
Oh, the 23rd.
Oh, is it the 16th?
16th.
Oh, that is Father's Day.
That's
I
exactly
didn't
what Jim.
remember that, but I looked ahead on the 10-day forecast and I'm like, 94, 5% chance.
Mothers are gonna feel slighted, just tell
I was
them.
gonna say, Dad won't care, I'll just golf or something.
That's exactly what I want to do on Father's Day.
Pool's not even open for
Well,
Mother's
this is
Day.
not
Father's Day.
Again, the pool's closed.
It'll be a Hallmark holiday someday, we'll get it. Okay, on pages 1 through 3, we have the minutes from last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Gill?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Clyde? Yes. Mr. Vacy?
Yes.
And committee reports, Mike, BMP?
So I wasn't here at the last meeting, but Jeremy presented the runner summary to the board, and I didn't get a copy of that, so. Then he reported that Ben is doing very well and he's healing, and they did a CPR training at the school, which helped with school physicals. And they also participated in the senior parade, which, and will be participating in the Memorial Day parade, which they did. That's it for PMK.
Thank you. Fire district.
Okay, and then for May 21st of the minutes from the fire is Chief Anata reported they had 9 runs, 3 of which were mutual aid. They're still waiting on quote for visibility, high visibility codes. The chicken barbecue for April 28th went well. They need to discuss increasing chicken prices going forward for next year. And then they're still waiting on a decision date for the celebration of their 140th year of celebration, and have not had enough members present at meetings, hoping to set something up in July. They received all their new pagers, were distributed, and graduation parade went well. They participated in Memorial Day parade. They had spotters out for weather on the 7th of May and did not spot a funnel. And there are 2 parties that are also interested in joining that are already card member holders for another department.
That's good.
There was one more thing. I know Mike wasn't at that meeting, but the board did bring up again on what our intentions were for the building. And I said, because they did mention it at the last meeting, I kind of forgot about it. And so I said, well, we can come back, and we have our next meeting next Tuesday. And
Greg and Mel and I have kind of talked about that. I think we need to see what happens with PMP in November, to be honest.
Yeah.
They have a levy coming on. If it doesn't pass, I don't know what will happen with it. So I didn't want the pressure to be on them. We know, we've picked it up.
Just one of the board members had asked, and I said, I will
just
bring it to our board and our council.
You know,
meeting.
when you're down and out, you sometimes don't want to.
Right. Well, you still have things to go through in there. and
She does,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
We know
so-
that.
And with what we kind of told them as well, that we're not busy upstairs physically out yet, so. And Jeremy also had said something about, he's looking at grants, so, if it's under the council, he might be, eligible
Sometimes
for the.
It's under the village, yeah.
Yeah,
the village,
yeah.
yes.
And I guess Lizzie had brought that up to him, so, I wasn't at that meeting.
Well, and
so,
not only that, I think, something you gotta consider is too, is the additional liabilities and stuff that if they were to take over the building, what it would cost them. And, I mean, it's gonna be,
Yeah,
it's gonna cost them more than what they're paying now.
but,
But there's,
just one of those things. Okay.
I know at one time, Mike, you mentioned something about $1 or something like
yeah,
that.
that was just
And that's okay, but I have been thinking about this. Maybe that's something somewhere, and as long as it remains a fire in PMP.
right.
And then, just for instance,
Yes.
let's say they decided to bulldoze it down and sell the property. Well, that really wouldn't be
Right.
fair.
No.
So, I mean,
Right,
there's
if
some
it's-
language that eventually we do need to,
So I would say if they get a grant
oh,
that it has been approved through them, but yet they have to own the building, in that instance, then we can do the dollar thing, right? And with the stipulations that we understand that we're not dozing this down, this is, the fire's gonna be here, PMP's gonna be here, under that circumstances, but otherwise, I mean, I think I don't think the PMP, I know the PMP can't afford,
they can.
Yeah.
To
and
take on anything.
Jeremy didn't want us.
yeah, because.
Yeah,
Just
and
have to
that's why
keep it,
we
yeah.
just haven't pushed it. We have
Right.
stuff there
I
and.
don't think the fire can either.
No,
Right.
no, really, yeah, with the
So,
fire truck that's out there, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, okay, we will go back with that then.
We haven't forgot.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
But thanks.
Yep.
Back to the jackets that you were talking about, the reflective ones.
Yeah, the high visibility one.
Did they go back to AEP, no, not AEP, North, what's the other one?
Retirement for the.
No, the other power place, Hancock Wood. Did they go back to them and ask them for the?
I don't.
They were able to get some money for turnout here.
Right, yeah, I don't know if they did or not.
Okay. Do you know, Jane? Jeff has been up there working with Val, putting stuff on the computer this week.
Any other questions about cemetery?
No, Mr. Facing Cut, he's trimmed.
No.
I took care of that.
Okay.
I'm not hanging over any stones that I know of at this point.
Any old business that we haven't talked about?
Just had a couple things. I was going back to things. The mulch, have we heard anything about the mulch for the park? I know we had a grant for that, correct?
We
For the
had a
playground.
grant that picked up part of it, then you guys voted to do up to 6,000.
But that was it, yeah.
Because of the relocation, we did not need the curb bumpers for the new child one, which was almost 2,000. So that was applied towards the mulch.
Okay.
Greg, you wanna tell them where they need to go to see this rubber mulch?
Well, there's 22 bags of it.
Down
Is
to the
there?
builder's building, yeah, I saw it.
I have a picture, it's
2,000 pound
all
bags.
the way, semi or two?
One semi.
One semi brought it on.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it's here,
Okay.
and then I think the place that just arrived,
Just arrived.
they came two
Oh,
separate
okay.
loads, so.
Okay.
Hey, that's where Jonah needs to place it.
Oh.
Tell me about the rubber mulch, that's where the kitty stay.
Oh, I think that piece might be lying on my desk, you brought me a piece, but, so it ended up, it did not cost us as much
Oh,
out of
good.
general
Okay.
fund because of eliminating those curbs.
Okay.
And they were fine with that at the company as well. And Mel's got the invoice and that could already be paid, I don't know. I know I dropped it in your box, like, okay. Beth, okay, so mulch, other,
Anything with Turkey Festival that we need to be aware of, or?
I think, is there a meeting this Thursday?
I can't remember what the email said.
There's
but
a meeting coming up.
I was gonna say, I know it's coming up, and I
Um,
think it is Thursday.
I'm thinking it's Thursday.
They don't really need anything from us, do they, from the village?
I think they've kind of reached out. I did ask if they wanted Scotty's, and they were like, no, I think we got that all covered, so
Okay.
that's good. I don't know if they're still doing their, like 501(c)(3)s on the one tennis court. They had talked about that. The Community Foundation had contacted me, so I need to check with Sarah on that one.
And I guess another thing, now, I didn't realize they were here, and I even looked on their Facebook page, and I didn't even see, someone said they were here in town on the Sunday down at the park.
I was gonna ask that too.
And I'm like, wow, I didn't even.
Scotty's?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
that was,
Like a last minute thing before
yes,
the-
it was very last minute.
Okay.
It was due to the ball games down there.
Okay, yeah.
Because the VFW would not open on Sunday. They are closed over here, right, you checked with them? And so we had talked to, and the gal out at, well, Angie from Scotty's, and she would have been here on Saturday, but it was kind of too late.
Yeah.
And then they didn't have the games on Sunday, but she said they still did really well
Oh,
there.
good.
People
Good.
were lined up.
Didn't know they were there.
That's
They're
my
like, "Oh, we're
question."
gone."
I was supposed to do a concession on Sunday, but they got canceled. I didn't know Scotty Stubbs were gonna be there for the tournament. Was that planned? Cause I had gotten a lot of stuff, and if it would've taken away from what I had gotten,
It wasn't originally planned, no. But I didn't know that we had enough places around town, and I didn't want people to go, well, they didn't even have any place for us to eat.
yeah. I mean, the guy for the tournament was in contact with me,
Okay.
about the concessions, and Greg was aware of that as well.
Okay.
So it kinda threw me off when I saw them. I'm like, I wonder if they were supposed to be here for the tournament, cause if so, that would've
That was
taken from.
the purpose that I had asked them to.
Okay.
And I guess another, well, since they're having a food truck, and I've had a couple, looking for garage sales and pools, would that be something that we would be interested in having food trucks maybe rotate out at the pool?
Are they
or-
selling any food down there at all?
Randy hasn't.
I should
I
ask
don't
them
know
over
what's
there.
the headache with
Oh,
that. I think
forgot,
that
yeah.
was a couple of
Oh,
Just say, I
having,
don't think they-
yeah, that's something that, yeah, one less thing you have to deal with, but I don't know, it's up to you guys, that was just
I
something I
think
thought.
Brooklyn did that last year, and she made some money off of that, but
Okay.
he asked me if it's all right if they bring food in this year, because he's not doing it. I
Oh,
said,
that's
"No."
true. Yeah, they had an issue with the food
Oh,
going
yeah.
into the pool. Yeah, forget it. Okay.
Well, they just didn't pick up after
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, right,
But
yeah.
I still think by having some of those younger kids do some of that service learning, that they found out there was a lot more scrubbing those chairs
Sure.
and all of that, so.
Yeah.
So on that topic, is food and drinks not allowed at the pool then? I don't know if that's been
I think
stated.
Randy is allowing it now, because he's not, there is no
Selling it.
concessions.
Okay, because I didn't know if it was, because if it wasn't, I wasn't aware of that. I didn't see it posted or anything, so.
He called me about it, and he's like, I'm not gonna have concessions, can I have them bring? And I said, that was fine, as long as,
I
you know,
think they
he's not
just-
picking up the trash. like
Trash,
he
as
did.
long as they pick up. Anything else, Beth?
I think that was it for me.
Okay. Anything under new business? Okay, Mike, do you have anything for this evening?
No, I don't.
Haley?
Two things. First, I was back at the concession before coming up here, and a lady said it was her first time at a park, and it was beautiful. So, good job to our village guys. And second, Mike and I think we've planned for what, the 19th?
19th.
Have our Parks and Rec
Yeah.
meeting. We had to cancel it the last time. So on the 19th, between finance and the,
What night do
what
we
is that,
have?
finance and, planning and zoning.
Finance and
Zoning.
Wednesday's there.
Yeah, the third Wednesday is supposed to be finance and planning and zoning.
Correct.
Yeah, so
Um,
hoping finance goes quickly, it'll be a meeting between them.
I will be on vacation, so.
Oh,
it'll go
next
real quick.
finance.
I was gonna say, Tyler originally said maybe the finance, we wouldn't have the finance properly. We'll just do the Parks and Rec at 5:30.
Okay, 5:30 Parks and Recs on the 19th.
Yeah.
So no finance meeting.
Yeah, no
Okay.
finance.
All right.
But Tyler in his email said we would still have the planning and
Yes,
zoning
planning and zoning,
on the
correct.
19th. So we will get that in the paper then, Parks and Rec, 5:30 on the 19th.
Yep.
Anything else, Haley?
Yep, that is all.
Okay, Jamie? Sarah?
Nothing.
But another hour from now, I might think, right?
Right.
And Beth?
No, I don't have anything at this time.
Okay. Grayson, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Nope.
Just thrilled to have summer vacay, right?
Oh,
For
yeah.
the student committee part though, we do have 3 applications, they're in front of you. They're all 8th graders. So if you would like to review those and think about them, we can like email back and forth, I don't expect a decision today. I'm pretty sure that the third one, that doesn't have an extra page stapled to it, I think that is their